Okay, very good afternoon to all of you. Now, today we are going to share business cycle. This is a very important and very interesting topic. And what we have shared in the last classes was about income determination by different ways, isn't it? So we had shared income method, output method, and expenditure method, and then we had shared about that how output, income, and employment is affected because of the change in the aggregate demand and aggregate supply and the sectors we had taken, two sector, three sector, four sector, and we had understood. I hope you have gone through it. That what is the international trade multiplier? What is the concept of uh, investment multiplier, isn't it? And how the taxation affects the consumption and it makes impact on the aggregate demand. So that is what we had shared in the last two classes. Now today what we are going to share is very, very interesting and important. That is business cycle. Business cycle is something like the way industries, they go for the up and down, isn't it? So for example, industry profit margin goes up and then they are like increasing their production, the sales of the company goes up, and then there is a downfall in the company. So everything has a upturn and the downfall, isn't it? So same happens with economies also. So economy goes up, that means the overall performance of the country improves and income increases, output increases, employment increases, market goes up, everything is in favor. And then there is downfall in the economy. Okay. And then once there's a downfall, then gradually the economy starts back on track. So this is how it goes, like the way the company performs. And if they can revive, then they'll be upturn. So similarly for the countries, so country cannot go for becoming totally like the company may go bankrupt and may get shut down, isn't it? But it will not happen with country. So country will always have a may have a downfall, but they can revive over the period of time. So countries can revive over the period of time with the change, with the intervention of the government, or maybe through monetary policy or any other means. So business cycle is the change in the performance of the country, and it has a particular trend. Okay, so that is what is business cycle is all about. That's why the term is used, business cycle, because it's about performance of the country's corporate sector, household sector. Because you see, if the corporates are doing well, what will happen? They will produce more. They'll produce more means they'll recruit more people, isn't it? So they'll recruit more people. More people means more income. So basically, that's why the term used is business cycle, because it's about the business in the country. And the business in the country drives growth. Growth drives more output, drives income, and respectively, more purchasing power, and the economy will be generating more income in the country. So this is how. So that is why the term uses business cycle. So what exactly is it and how it works? So what we will be sharing in this is about business cycle. What exactly is the meaning of business cycle? What are the different phases of business cycle? You may have expansion of the economy. So economy growing up, GDP increases, income increases, output increases, employment increases. People are confident about the economy and people start buying more. Bank starts giving more. Okay, so that's expansion. And then once you reach the peak where where maximum like demand is there, then the economy, all resources are utilized. And once you reach to that peak point, then what will happen? Since you have reached the peak point, then gradually the resources get exhausted. Money is not enough in the economy. Output cannot increase further. Output cannot increase means the job market will be affected. And once it starts happening, people starts losing trust, and then gradually contraction starts. So you start with expansion, that is everything is good. You reach to the topmost point, that's peak, followed by once you reach to the top, then the resources get exhausted. Then there's a contraction in the economy. That means the economy starts moving downwards. GDP starts decreasing, income starts decreasing, output starts decreasing. Companies, production, they start producing less, and wages and salary starts decreasing. Everything is on the downturn. So that's contraction. And once you reach to the downfall, to the minimum level, then it's trough. Okay, the lowest level. So the lowest level you reach to the trough, and the highest level is peak. Okay, so highest level is peak and the lowest level is trough, and in between you have contraction and expansion respectively. So हम ये share करेंगे what are the different phases country may go through. Okay, so that's about, so what is meaning of business cycle, what are the different stages through which a country may go through. Then we'll share what are the features, what are the factors which leads to these phases, because of which factors expansion is there in the economy, because of which factors there may be the economy has reached to the peak point, then there is contraction in the economy, and then trough. So are these factors because of the country, within the country factors, or is because of the factors which are not within the country but which makes impact on the country? So within the country are internal factors, and the factors which are not within the country but external to the country or outside the country but still makes impact on the country are external factors. Okay, so this is what we will be sharing. Then the last thing what we will be sharing will be that why is it important for to understand business cycle for decision making in business, for business units. So if you are running a company, then how do you decide about, or how do you what will be the decision of yours based on the business cycle? If the country is in the expansion path stage and you are running a company, so how will you decide about? You will think about that everything is going good, so let me invest more. So we'll be investing more. If it is going good, then I should go for more employment. Then my sales will increase, my profits will increase, and I can expand my business further. So your decisions are all based on how the economy is going to perform. So this is what, these are all topics which we are going to share today in business cycle. Okay. So we'll start with this. We had also shared in the past when we spoke about Keynes, John Maynard Keynes, और आपको बताया था कि John Maynard Keynes is considered as father of macroeconomics. So that happened in 1930s. But before that, 1930s के पहले, Great Depression के पहले, the country in UK was on the upturn. Everything was good. 1920s, okay. 1920s, what happened in 1920s? The country, UK, was increasing. GDP of the country was increasing. So 1920s, GDP was increasing, production was increasing. Okay, so the production level in the country was increasing. The production increases means job opportunities increased. Job opportunities increases means salary increases. Salary increases means you can lead a better quality of life. You can have comforts in life. So what happens because of that? Salary increases. That means you can have comforts in life. So you enjoy better quality of life. So the quality of life improves because you can have all the comforts in life. And the quality of life improves means your consumption increases. And your consumption increases means you will be buying more. So this is how. So the growth was fueled by new technology. Why? What made UK, United Kingdom, to perform better? Because they were adopting new technology, like the way India is adopting new technology. So 4G and 5G, isn't it? So you can do everything through your mobile today. In your mobile, you have artificial intelligence also. You just write one word and you can find out everything. So technology resulted in what? Production process improved. Okay, because countries started incorporating new technology. Once the technology was incorporated, production process became more efficient. So production started increasing at a faster pace. Okay, and this helped to produce more at a lower cost. And so the profits of the company increased, and the profits started increasing. Share market also went up. So because companies were gaining more profit and people started having optimism in the market, and once you had optimism, once you believe that the country will be, you gain confidence in the economy, then you start spending, you start investing, corporate starts raising loan, bank starts giving them more loans. Everything was in favor, and optimism in the market resulted in inflow in funds in stock market. Now, once people started putting funds in the stock market, the prices of the stock market went up. And once it started going up, it went up like anything. And this created optimism in the market. People started putting money. And then after unprecedented increase in the stock market, there was a downfall in 1930s. 1930s, it started in 1929 and 1930. US and the UK economy were in Great Depression. So it started with boom, growth. Okay, and this is one scenario of growth, 1920s, growth in UK. And what about slump? Slump means downfall in the economy. So downfall in the economy means that China, you see, China has gone through economic downturn, slowdown, because a real estate sector of there is not performing. Banks have started defaulting. Okay, banks are starting defaulting because corporate are not able to pay, and that and export of their country has also decreased. So because of that, what has happened? Overall income in the country has decreased, and this decrease in the country results in what? Low production. So the production decreases, GDP decreases, output decreases, income decreases, and employment decreases in the country. The purchasing power of the people decreases, so the consumption also decreases in the country. So it resulted, and there was a political disruption and financial problems. So economy went down. So these are two extreme cases. So these are business cycle. Some countries are going up, are performing better. Some countries are having downfall. Okay. So these are different phases of the business cycle of the countries which go through over a period of time. Har country ka upturn aata hai, then there's the downfall, and then there is again the gradually the country starts overcoming that, and then it reaches to peak, and then again a downfall. So this is how the countries uh, macroeconomic fundamentals behave over a period of time. Okay. So business cycle, what exactly is business cycle? So it is periodic boom. So it may go up. This should be the normal trend. Okay. This is the time period. And during this time period, this is the GDP of the country. So ideally, you start from 20s, 1920s to 1924, and so on, 24, 2004, and 2014, and so on, 2000 from 19 to 20s, and so on. Okay, the economy should grow now. Economy should grow because over the period of time you want your country to grow, so it should ideally grow. But it may happen that it's performing very well, so boom. That means expansion. Expansion is here. This is peak. Then there's downfall. So this is contraction. And then this is trough. And then again, recovery. This is recovery. So economy is back. And then expansion. And then peak. Then contraction. And then trough. And then again from trough to recovery. Recovery, recovery. And then going to expansion. And then again peak. And so on. This is how it continues. So these are business cycle. Okay. So you have boom on the upside, expansion. Then you have prosperity at the top of it. Everything is good, followed by contraction, then downfall, and then trough, depression, and then again back. Okay. So these are upturns and the downfalls in the economy, which is known as business cycle. In this, the economic activities in the countries may be economic activities in the country in boom will be going up, and in slump or in the downfall, contraction and trough, it will be going down. Okay, so this is what is about business cycle, what we will be sharing. So if you look at this, this is the normal, this should be dotted one, should be the normal trend. Okay, so dotted one, this should be the normal trend. Normal trend basically means what? As the time increases, as the time passes by, countries should grow. Yes. So ideally, countries should grow as the time passes by. So here the time is increasing. As the time passes by, the real GDP of the country should increase. And that is why this is upward sloping, this trend which shows here. But actually, how the economy performs, the economy may start, like we have seen that China is on the downturn. Okay. But now they are working on recovering the economy. So economy is gradually, Chinese economy is recovering. And then they'll again, India is also here. And then India is at the pace of expansion. We are expanding. We are expanding. We have to go still for expanding. $3 trillion economy, $5 trillion economy, and then it goes up. And then we'll reach to the peak. Peak means all resources are fully utilized, optimism is there, everything is good. And then again, from peak to economy will start downfall. So there will be downfall in the economy, and then it will reach to contraction, and from contraction to minimum trough, and then again peak, and so on. Okay, so these are business cycles. Upturn and downturn are business cycles. Okay, so this happens because of the economic internal factors. This may happen because of the external factors. So expansion, what exactly is expansion? So what we have shared here is, so this is expansion. You see, this is expansion. Growing economic activities are improving in the country. So that's why output is increasing, employment is increasing, income is increasing, job opportunities are becoming better, people are becoming more optimistic, and that is how profits of the companies are increasing. Okay, so everything is going in positive manner. Expansion. So what is expansion? Income increases, national output increases. Output increases means income increases, employment increases. Once corporates start producing, they'll hire more people, they'll give them salary. So income increases, employment increases. Okay. Once you have more income, then household have more income, they'll consume more. So if the consumption in the country increases, that means corporate production will also increase. So production increases, companies will expand their business. Okay, so they will be expanding because they are more optimistic about. So it's a term of, it is about optimism. Okay, confidence in the economy. So confidence in the economy increases, optimism is there. Okay, so sales increases, profits increases, stock price starts increasing, banks are ready to give loans. So banks start giving more loans, companies' profit starts increasing, their sales starts increasing, economy, resources are more efficiently utilized. Okay, and then you know the difference between frictional and structural unemployment. Unemployment, basically, those people who are able and willing to work, if they get job, that means they're employed. If they're not able to get job, then they're considered as unemployed. Okay, frictional unemployment means what? Frictional unemployment means for the time being, you are unemployed. Reason being, you are moving from one company to the other. So if you switch over your job, and then for the time being, if you're unemployed, that is known as frictional unemployed, because you have got a job in Delhi and you want to leave from, you got a new job in Mumbai, and before you join in Mumbai, you have already resigned and you have been relieved from Delhi. So before going to joining at Mumbai, you are unemployed for that period of time. So that is known as frictional unemployment. So this happens because people are not able to move from one place to other in a short span of time. Okay. देन सो केवल जब इस समय अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होगा वो केवल फ्रिक्शनल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होगा. दिस विल बी द ओनली फ्रिक्शनल अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. There will be no involuntary unemployment. Involuntary unemployment means what? I want to work and I get a job. So those kind of those people, those who are willing to work and are able to work, they'll get a job, and that is why there will be no involuntary unemployment. So involuntary unemployment expansion means zero hoga. Okay, structural unemployment due to structural changes will be to some extent there, because structural changes, companies जो है labor intensive से capital intensive में चली गई, so that is why there will be some level of structural unemployment. What will happen to standard of living? Standard of living will be higher because आपका income बढ़ रहा है, consumption बढ़ रहा है, employment बढ़ रहा है, so banks are ready to give loan, so standard of living will improve in the case of expansion. Okay, so everything is good in expansion. What happens during peak? So peak is when you reach to the maximum point. So once you reach the maximum point, that means what? You are at the highest point of the business. So all companies, they are producing, they were optimism about in the expansion. So peak stages arrived after expansion. So in expansion, you are growing. economy is growing. And once you reach to the maximum point, that means corporates have gained enough profit and stock market has gone up to the maximum extent. Now, what will happen after this? The demand will be increasing, inflation will increase in the economy. Okay, because of that, the cost will increase, cost will start increasing. Okay, and because of the cost of living increases and the prices increases, so who can buy? Only those people can buy, those who have higher income. Those who will be having less income, they will not be able to buy, and that is how the gap will increase between rich and poor. Okay, inequality will start. Then house prices which had gone up, there will be downfall overall because people will not be able to buy because income starts decreasing. And and once you reach to the top, after that, what is going to happen? You have reached to the top, so economy gets stabilized, and after that, what will start happening? Then there will be downfall. Okay, yes, at maximum Vidhan we have used all our resources, and this will lead to maximum output beyond which you cannot go ahead, isn't it? So all resources are rapidly, you're leading to increasing the cost of living will increase, fixed, it will be straining your fixed income because the prices gradually starts increasing. Okay, so the consumption expenditure on housing and durable starts increasing, and you reach to the point from where there you cannot grow further. You cannot grow further. So that means there will be downfall from that stage. So from peak, you start, the economy starts on the downturn. Then the contraction starts happening in the economy. And this is also known as recession. Okay. So then investment starts decreasing, output starts decreasing because you're fully exhausted. No. And if the demand is going to increase, you can't increase investments because your cost will increase, inflation rate will increase. Banks will also be not having so much funds to give you loans, and that is why the interest rates will also increase. So what will happen? Investments in the economy starts decreasing, output, and since investment decreases, output decreases, and employment also starts decreasing. Okay, supply is already surplus, is there, but the demand is shooting up. Okay, and the supply is already ahead because you believe that the market will be demanding more and you already produce surplus. Now, since you have produced surplus during peak period, at the time of peak, now the demand is not there because the corporate consumers are not having enough income. So the demand starts decreasing and there's overproduction in the economy. And this overproduction leads to what? Companies have to stop, no? Because it will be leading to more inventories. So inventory stock will increase. And the inventory increases means production, you will postpone your production. You will stop your production plan for the period of time. So you hold your future production plan. As a company, you stop producing further. And what will happen? The orders which you had received, they will also cancel their order because they will realize that the demand enough is not there. Okay, so there will be cancellation and stoppage of orders because you already have a surplus production, so will not go for further production and stop. You will not demand raw material. So overall, it will have an impact on the economy. Every player will be adversely affected. There will be decrease in the input demand. Okay, so the demand will decrease, and this will lead to what? Prices will start decreasing. So prices will start falling down, and prices starts falling down means overall incentive for the corporate will further decrease. Once the incentive to produce further decreases, that means they'll not hire employees. If they're not hiring employees, means wages will start decreasing. Okay, so your income in the country, overall income in the country starts decreasing, salary starts decreasing, and because of that, consumers will not be able to buy. So the consumption demand decreases. Consumption demand decreases means production will further decrease. This will create more pessimism in the market. Okay, so people will start consuming less. So overall consumption will decrease, inventory stocks will be piled up, and that is why companies will be financial obligations. They always produce on credit, no? So they have produced surplus. in anticipation that sales will increase. And since they have produced in anticipation of more, now since demand is not there, what is going to happen? You can't repay from whom you have taken loan, isn't it? Because you are not able to sell your products. So until unless you generate revenue, how will you repay? So you cannot repay. And that is why these financial obligations you will not be able to meet, and this will further lead to default in the market. So defaults in the company starts increasing. Banks will be more having like default assets. Bank assets will become more bad assets. Okay, so banks, those who have given loans, they will not be able to get like a loan repayment traction in the economy. Economic activities will be on the downturn. Okay, so this downturn in the economy results in decrease in GDP, decrease in income, and the economy leads to downfall. There's pessimism in the market. They do not want to invest. Consumers, they are hesitant to buy. Okay, so this leads to recession in the economy. And if this cannot be controlled, if recession cannot be controlled, if you are here, so recession is downfall. If the contraction is happening and the downfall is there, and if it is not taken care, what will happen? It will reach to the minimum level, and this will lead to trough. Trough is the peak. Peak is you are having sources fully utilized, income is highest, output is highest, employment is at the maximum level. Here, what is happening? Output is minimum, employment starts is minimum, where unemployment rate increases. Okay, employment rate is less and unemployment increases, income in the country decreases, output in the country decreases, investment starts decreasing. So that's the trough. Trough is means total downfall. That is also known as depression, extreme case. Okay, extreme case. So depression. So what will happen? Growth rate becomes negative. You have seen in this, growth rate is negative. Up to this is still positive. If it decreases below the required rate, that means this is all negative, no? So GDP becomes negative. Yeah, so GDP growth rate is negative. So growth rate becomes negative. Now, once GDP starts decreasing at a very fast pace, what will happen? Output will start decreasing at a very fast pace. Investments in the economy will decrease. Employment in the country will be very, very low. Okay, so employment decreases, national income decreases, price level in the country will decrease. Very fast rate. Okay, and because of that, corporate will not have incentive to produce. So the production, unemployment will be at a very high rate of unemployment. And once there is a very high rate of unemployment, what will happen? Salaries will decrease. Cost of living will increase. Standard of living will decrease. It will be difficult to get basic amenities in life, and so interest rates will decrease. Okay, firms will suffer because of the excessive capacity. They will not go for the production because the demand overall in the country will decrease. So that's depression. All economic activities are on the extreme downturn. And once economy is at the bottom of the this business cycle, then what's the option left? Now the only option left is to revive the economy. Once you start reviving, then the economy will be back on expansion path, and this is known as recovery. So once there's the trough, then economy will be back to the stage of gradually will start recovering. Because if unemployment increases in the country, output starts decreasing in the country, then the government has to intervene to make the economy start working back or coming back on track. Okay, so then again there will be stage of recovery. So recovery means gradually you government start investing in the economy. Once government starts building roads and give like flyovers, so it creates jobs means they get income means they'll start spending. Once they start spending, they create demand, corporate will gain some confidence, they'll start producing. Okay. So gradually people will get more jobs. So there will be change in the labor market. People will start getting jobs once workers starts accepting. So people are ready to work at low wage rate because in depression, rather than remaining unemployed, it's better to have a job. Yes, to have a job at a low salary. So people will start from at this stage of depression, people will start accepting low paid jobs because companies will say that we cannot offer you high salary, so you work at low salary. So people will start working for low salary. Once they start working for low paid jobs, what will happen in that case? Cost of firms will start reducing. The cost of firms will start reducing because people are working at a low wage rate. Once the cost of firms starts decreasing, they will be able to produce more. Now, once they start production, increasing the production, they'll hire more employees. So once they hire more employees, salaries will increase and the economy will be starting to move back on track. Okay. So this is how the countries they go through different stages. The recovery, what will happen? The workers will start, it starts from the labor markets because you have already reached to the stage of trough depression, where there is a very high rate of unemployment. And that is why people, those who are unemployed, they're ready to work at low salary. Once they start working at low salary, then what will happen? Producers' cost will reduce. Business, and once the cost reduces, they'll start investing. Once they start investing, other corporate also feel optimism in the market and they'll also start investing. There will be positive business environment. Okay, gradually people start gaining trust. Investment starts. Once the investment starts, economy gains confidence, and that is how banks also start giving loans. The bank also starts giving loan because they believe that the economy is reviving back. New technology starts coming in. Once the new technology starts coming in, then companies will adopt those new technology. They'll go for new capital for the machines and new technology. This will create more jobs. Output in the country will increase, income in the country will increase, and as a result, consumption will increase. And once consumption increases, again, the production increases, and profits of the firms will also increase, and the economy will be back on the stage of expansion. So from recovery, economy will be back on. So this is how the countries, they go through different business cycles. Now, the term of business cycle may differ. In some countries, business cycle can be for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years gap, and the other can be only in 5 years, 7 years, depending upon which country and how the fundamentals of the country are, or how the country, the policymakers have taken decision. Okay, so these are 4 stages in business cycle. So now what are the indicators? आपको पता कैसे चलेगा कि country recession में जा रही है, contraction है, expansion है, recovery है और trough है? So how will you come to know about that? Okay, so to know about that, there are different indicators which indicates that will the economy will be going towards high expansion at this phase of expansion, or will it go through contraction, or will it go through recession, or is it at peak? So there are some indicators, economic indicators, which will help business units to decide about, should we go for more investment? Should we not go for investment? Should we increase our production? Should we go for hiring more people? Or should we adopt the new technology, whatever it is about? So you have some economic indicators. Based on that, the decision is taken. Okay. So what are the leading indicators? So there are 3 categories of indicators, economic indicators, which depicts about business cycle. Approx, okay? We can't say that 100% they indicate about the business cycle, they depict about the business cycle, but yes, to some extent you can find out that this is the trend. Okay. If these are the trend, that means it is going to lead to boom in the economy. or recession in the economy or contraction in the economy, respectively. Okay. So leading indicators. When we talk about leading indicators in the economy are stock prices. If stock prices starts increasing, okay, if the stock market goes up, companies are investing more, consumers are buying more. That means what? That means that the economy is on the expansion path. Yes. So economy is on the expansion path because of the leading indicators. Once the economy is on the expansion path, so this should be the normal trend. And once the economy is from here, so when the market goes up, so you are here, you are at this stage, expansion, this stage. If you're at the expansion stage, what will happen? You will come to know from market going up. So market is going up. That creates confidence, optimism, and economy will prosper because people will have more trust in investments in the market. So if the market is going up, people have more trust in the investment. People go for more investment means corporate get more funding. They get more funding means they'll invest more. They invest more means they'll produce more output. So expansion. Reverse kab hoga? Reverse will be when the market is on the downturn. Markets start decreasing. Prices starts increasing. Okay, prices basically have reached prices beyond a point. Cost of production starts increasing. Okay, company starts defaulting. Banks, they are hesitant to give loans. And this is how, so if the market is like this, then you will come to know their economy is going through contraction. So leading factors which are before the business cycle is going to occur. Okay, so leading indicators which are before the business cycle phase. Okay, so before contraction, before expansion. Okay, so these are the leading factors which depicts about the country expansion phase में जाएगी या contraction phase में जाएगी in future. These are leading factors. Lagging indicators. Lagging indicators will be what the event has occurred. For example, we say कि China has gone through downfall. Okay, contraction. So China में contraction हो गया economy का. Now they have realized that unemployment has gone up because of contraction. Okay, corporate profit has already decreased. The corporate profit has decreased. Post, जब contraction की वजह से क्या क्या हो गया है, that is lagging indicators. Okay, what has happened post contraction or what is happening post expansion, that is lagging indicators. ओके सो लैगिंग इंडिकेटर से भी आप कर सकते हैं कि अभी जो इस इवेंट के बाद जो हुआ है उससे हम कैसे प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं इन फ्यूचर सो यू कम टू नो अबाउट व्हाट इज द इम्पैक्ट सो लैगिंग इंडिकेटर्स tells you about the impact of some plus or minus which has happened in the economy. Coincident indicators are what? Coincident, which are going simultaneously during the crisis or during the expansion. So coexisting factors are that अगर expansion हो रहा है economy में तो GDP बढ़ेगा, income बढ़ेगी, inflation बढ़ेगा, industrial production बढ़ेगा. So that is about coincident factors. Okay, so which goes along with the stage, that is coincident. Lagging are that depicts about the impact. एक बिजनेस साइकिल का फेस एंड हो गया उसके बाद क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा इकोनॉमी में, दैट इज लैगिंग फैक्टर्स. लीडिंग फैक्टर्स आर which depicts about that this is the phase which is going to country has to go through that. That's about future, which depicts about the future. That is leading factors. Okay, so these are economic indicators which depicts about business cycle. कि country का क्या stage होगा business cycle में, किस stage पे होगी country business cycle में, approx only, but it gives you idea about, it gives country idea about कि हमारी country बूम में जा रही है या कॉन्ट्रैक्शन में जा रही है या रिसेशन में जा रही है रिस्पेक्टिवली. ओके, सो व्हाट आर द लीडिंग इंडिकेटर्स? लीडिंग इंडिकेटर्स आर दैट चेंजेस इन द स्टॉक प्राइस. स्टॉक प्राइस ऊपर जाने लगता है. Profit margins firms का बढ़ रहा है. Okay. Housing and interest rates and prices are increasing. Consumers are buying more goods and services. Companies are increasing their investment on new plant and equipment and machinery. Consumer का confidence up है. So that means if this is a scenario, you'll say the country में expansion हो रहा है. Yes, if the reverse is true, market down हो गया, profit margin firms का कम होता जा रहा है, interest rates are decreasing, companies are not booking new orders, they are canceling the order, they are not going for new investment projects. Consumer confidence is decreasing day by day. That means there's contraction in the economy. There will be contraction in the economy in future. So this is about in future. Okay. So present depicting about future or forecasting about future is leading indicator. Okay. It can be good also. It can be bad also. Future maybe. Lagging indicators about what? This country has already gone through contraction. So there was already contraction in the economy. Now, what is the post impact of that? That is lagging indicators. Okay. So performance, historical performance or changes indicators which has happened in the past. Okay. Based on that. So it gives you idea about that this has happened in the past and what will be its impact in the future, how it may impact in the future. So lagging indicators are like example, unemployment, corporate profits, labor cost per unit is increasing, or interest rates, consumer price index, okay, and commercial lending activities, all those factors which depicts about that what what impact it had post the event. And indicators are जो simultaneously उस phase के साथ occur हो रहे. That means which gives you information about rate of change of expansion कितना है. अगर contraction है तो at what rate the economy is contracting. If there is expansion, then at what rate country is expanding, economy is expanding. Okay, so it is about coincident factor at present. You are talking at present. Okay, so in coincident indicators, you are talking at present how the country's performance is. Is country's GDP increasing? Is inflation in the country increasing at present? Is industrial production in the country increasing? Is personal income is increasing? Is retail sales increasing? Is profit of the companies and of the banks is increasing? Stock market returns, you're getting more. So this is what is happening at present. अगर ये सब है तो आप क्या कहेंगे कि economy is expanding, and reverse what will you see is contraction because of this. So you understand the difference between three indicators. Leading is which you're talking about can happen, can be in future. Okay. Lagging is which has happened in the past. Okay. And coincident is which is the current one. Current happening simultaneously. Coincident factors. So these are all factors which depicts about country किस stage में होगा. Okay. So 1930s Great Depression we had also shared prior. अभी जब हमने फर्स्ट स्लाइड की बात की, we have spoken in 1920s. UK economy was in a growth phase. Growth means expansion. Yes. Now in 1930s, what happened? It was just opposite. The world economy suffered the longest, deepest, and the widespread depression. It started in US and it spread all over the world. Okay. What happened? GDP started decreasing. So GDP fell to 15%. That means it became minus by how much? 15% between 1929 to 1932. So prices, so inflation in the country increased, GDP in the country decreased. Okay. Unemployment started increasing, income started decreasing. Okay. So these are all factors which resulted in downfall in the economy. Then the British, we have already shared what made John Maynard Keynes to think about that the government has to play a very important role. So during this 1930s only, this economist, British economist, John Maynard Keynes, who's considered as father of macroeconomics, said that since the aggregate expenditure has started decreasing, overall expenditure started decreasing in the economy, and that is why what happened once you spend less, so aggregate demand decreased in the country. Once the aggregate demand decreases, then consumption demand decreases, investment demand decreases, government expenses will increase, government loans will increase, government will become more like government loan obligations will increase, government deficit will increase, and this is how it will have impact. So this is what John Maynard Keynes said about that it is because of the aggregate demand, the economy went down. There are other set of economists who said about it's not because of aggregate demand, it's about money. Banks started defaulting and the money which was available in the market was not in sufficient quantity, and that is why it led to increase in the price level. So there are two notions. One says that the aggregate demand was less and that is why there was a downfall in the economy. The other set of economists, they say about that it was because of the money factor. Money supply decreased in the economy and money supply decreased. That means banks started defaulting. And once the banks started defaulting, the overall performance of the economy adversely got affected. Okay. So it led to more loans. And more loans means more debt obligations. Profits started decreasing. It resulted in pessimism in the market. लोगों का ट्रस्ट खत्म हो गया. They started thinking that economy का कुछ नहीं हो सकता. So there was a pessimism in the market. Okay. And this resulted in what? Further production decrease, employment decrease, income decrease, expenditure started decreasing. And there was a downfall in the economy. But उसके बाद क्या हुआ? World War II हुआ. Once the World War II started, then in World War II, machines were required. Okay, war equipments were required, and this made so they had to make more defense equipments and others. So job opportunities increased. Job opportunities started increasing, which resulted in people getting jobs. Once people started getting job, that resulted in what? Income and so on. Okay, so this is how Great Depression se kya hua? Fir economy started recovering. High production employment, mostly people are concerned with wars. Okay, so this is about the economy's performance, and then economy started. So basic parameter kya hai? There will be downfall and it may reach to extreme like depression. And then again, the economy starts recovering back. And once it starts recovering back, then it will reach to normal and then again expansion and then again peak and so on. Okay, so this is how economy will go through. So Great Depression, 1930s, which led to downfall in the economy. But World War II again led economy to be gradually moving on track. इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि wars are good for the country. Okay. Then there was this technology bust, which happened in Asian countries basically, which led to impact on Asian countries. Now 90s was the time of internet. Yahoo. Okay. And other players, eBay and others. So they were capturing the market. It started with .com companies, all digital. Okay, so digital companies started, through internet started promoting services, and so companies which are digital companies, their valuations went up because people started believing more trust कि ये companies जो हैं transformation लाएंगी country में, because internet started growing at a rapid pace. And this resulted in huge scope के performance country का improve होगा. Companies started investing and this created over optimism. So there was over optimism which resulted in more loans. And they didn't realize that business can you expand business up to a certain level. It's not possible to expand business beyond a certain level. So they started, stock prices went up. Okay, because companies ka valuation went up, stock prices went up. And every company which had a prefix of .com, उनके लिए बहुत optimism बढ़ गया, because they will be driving profits in the market. So many startups started with this concept of entering into digital internet companies. Okay, so this resulted in what? More companies started investing, and the parameter became that the growth is more important, profit to aa jayega. So companies started growing at a faster pace with overconfidence that profits will automatically be coming. First, we have to work on growth. So they started growing at a faster pace. Spending increased of firms. So companies started investing more and spending more. Okay. And 1999 to 2000, market ka valuation itna high ho gaya कि it had to crash. So the market crashed. Okay. Once the market crashed, this stock market crashed. And because of that, got panicked. People got panicked that market में downfall हो गया. हमारी investments, wealth, सब deteriorate हो जाएगी. And people started withdrawing funds. Companies were short of funds. Okay. And those investors who had invested, they lost huge money. They were not having enough income. And all these factors led to downfall in the economy. So एक हमने देखा US economy, which was going through depression in 1930, World War II की वजह से it started moving back on track. दूसरा example, we have seen that information technology was at boom, and this boom created over optimism, and this over optimism led to very high level of increase in stock prices and the capital market, which created like nominal wealth to that extent of people that people started believing that profits will be automatically we will be getting, just we have to work on expanding the business. To expand the business, they started taking loan, and this resulted in over optimism, resulted in downfall in the market. And then there was a sudden crash. There was a crash in the market, Sensex, and respectively the market went down. And once the stock price technology burst in 2000 in Asian countries and other which had. Now, किसी भी business cycle के common features क्या होते हैं? If you look at some features which are there. So the repercussions of the business cycle for. So what are the common features of business cycle? So what are the common features of business cycle are that a periodic time, but that time period is not defined. You cannot say that it will happen after boom. अगर आपकी country में है तो 10 years के बाद में आपके यहाँ recession होगा and then there will be depression. You cannot say that. Okay, you can't say that time period. Time period may vary, and it's very difficult to predict that. But it will happen over a period of time. It will happen because something which has reached to the top, there has to be downfall, isn't it? So business cycle have of this cycle varies. 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, 7 years, 2 years, not 2 years, 3 to 5 years minimum. Okay. So intensity of fluctuation varies from country to country. Then business cycle have different phases of expansion. It has 4 phases: expansion, peak, contraction, and trough. Okay. So this is how, and these phases are not smooth. It cannot be that you move straight from expansion to peak in a smooth manner. It will take time. It will take time. And in this period from expansion to peak, you may have some downfall also. Okay. So it's not so smooth. Okay. Then business cycle generally originate in free market economy. Free market economy में क्यों होती है ये? Because firms, they can produce as per their choice, isn't it? So once you start producing, just आपने देखा .com bubble that you have seen in 1930s. So it happens in free market economy. जहाँ पे कुछ control होता है, there the probability is less that the country will lead to downfall, or there will be contraction in the economy to such level. Okay, to such a level that contraction will be there in the economy. Okay, or when there is a downfall in the economy, it's not like that कि सारे sectors में production कम हो जाएगा, output कम हो जाएगा, income कम हो जाएगी, and everything. Okay, it is not about all the sectors together. It may be in some sectors there's a severe downfall, and in some sectors there is not so much impact. Okay, so this is how it works. So it's very difficult sometimes to find out because आपने देखा in dot-com bubble it was only uh, companies which were majorly affected because the major companies which got more profits in 90s were mainly dot-com companies, and their downfall resulted in further downfall in the economy. So it was not about all the sectors. Normally, agriculture sector is not getting so much impacted through this. Like it's not so much contributory factor to business cycle. Business cycle में contributory factors कौन से होते हैं majorly? Industries and household sector, which makes more impact rather than agriculture sector as such. So business cycle are becoming more complex nowadays. It's very difficult to find out इसका cause क्या है, इसका impact तो आप find कर सकते हैं, but what is the cause? So that you can take care about that in future. It is becoming very difficult because the market is becoming very complex. So it is very difficult to define क्या चीज है जो कौन से factors हैं, leading factors हैं that will lead to contraction in the economy or expansion in the economy. Okay, lagging factors you can still analyze. Coincidence still you can take care, but leading factors to be very precise about कि ये factors हैं जो country को downfall के लिए responsible होंगे या expansion में ले जाएंगे. To some extent you can say, but 100% you can't say that these are the factors which are leading to. So it's very complex in nature. Okay, and it has impact. Business cycle has its impact on output, employment, investments, consumption, interest rates, trade. Okay, so price level, सब पे इसका impact पड़ता है across the entire economy. Business cycle makes impact and it is contagious. एक country में हुआ इसका impact दूसरी country में होगा, दूसरी country से ये next country में होगा, and it spreads all across the globe. Okay, it is contagious in nature. So one country is suffering, it can have impact. What happened in US in Great Depression, it had impact on all the capitalist countries. Majority of the capitalist countries, it had impact. Okay, so it's very important to understand the business cycles and its consequences for the well-being of the society. Because if the country is doing well, still it is fine. But when the country is on the downfall, the majority of the people, those who suffer are poor people. So it's very important for them, for the country to take care about these people. So well-being of the society is very important. And that's why it's important to understand business cycle. What are the factors of this? What may lead to downfall? What may lead to upturn? Where we are today. So these are all things you can come to know through business cycle. Okay. So what we have shared about the business cycle होता क्या है, इसका impact क्या होता है. Now we'll talk about causes of business cycle. That what leads to the business cycle. Business cycle के phases में. Some countries are outperforming. Some countries are on the downturn. Some countries are stable, isn't it? Some countries are recovering. So what can be the possible reason for these different stages in different countries, in different parts of the world? So these can be some internal factors, जो कि country के within है, internal factors. Okay, making impact, internal causes, and external causes which are not about country, but जो other countries में है जिसका impact पड़ रहा है. Because you may have a political relationship with other country, or you may have some conflict of interest with other country. So आपने देखा India is Afghanistan and other countries, they had a tough time. And because of the crisis in US, other countries had suffered in 2008. So external factors हो गए. अब रशिया यूक्रेन का वॉर है, उसकी वजह से सारे यूरोपियन कंट्रीज आर सफरिंग. So it's because of the war which is happening in Russia and Ukraine, and its impact is there on all the countries. Britain है, बाकी countries, European countries है, सब पे उसका impact पड़ा. So that's about external factor. Okay, post-war. So external factors can be because of the war, because of the technology shock. international market में technology, because we are all interconnected. So we are connected by technology. So if something happens in rest of the world in terms of technology में कोई disruption होते हैं, जैसे some cyber fraud which happen in rest of the world, and your company gets hacked because of that. So that's about country financial data, or uh, confidential data gets affected because of that. So technology shocks, which makes some AI and other which has been used in other countries, and if India is not going to use, we will be lacking behind. So we have to work on that technology shocks which can be there. Something goes wrong in the rest of the world, and its impact is on India. Natural factors, some factors like COVID जैसे हुआ, some unnatural factors which impacted all across. China में हुआ और उसका impact बाकी countries में हुआ. Then they are talking about monkeypox and other. So there can be natural factors. Suppose one country जहाँ से आप import कर रही है इंडिया, उस country में कुछ crisis हो गया natural factors की वजह से. So you will not be able to import. Okay, so these can be restraints. Population growth, overall world economy, population is growing, and its impact on the country like India. Okay, that's about population factors. Then internal factors can be India के अंदर demand कितनी है, how much is demand in the country, how much people are ready to spend, what is their capacity to spend, and they are willing to spend, and they are ready to spend. That depicts about that country will grow or country will be having downfall. How investments are happening in the country, investment rate of investments क्या है, investments का returns क्या है. Okay, variation government spending, how much government is spending, where government is spending, where government is giving more rebates, where the government is imposing more taxes, and all those internal factors contributing. Macroeconomic policies, monetary policy कैसी है country की, गवर्नमेंट के टैक्सेस एंड सब्सिडी पॉलिसी कैसी है, टेरिफ्स कैसे हैं. ओके, देन मनी सप्लाई, how much is money available in the economy, liquid money is available, cash is available in the economy, how easy it is to get loan, at what rate it is possible to get loan, interest rates are increasing in the banks or not. Psychological factors, लोग क्या सोचते हैं ओवरऑल इकोनॉमी का अपटर्न हो रहा है या डाउनटर्न हो रहा है, या so there may be pessimism, there may be optimism. So that is a psychological factor which may make impact on business cycle of the country. So we'll take break for 10 minutes, and then we'll further discuss about कि ये causes कैसे होते हैं जो कि business cycle पे impact करते हैं country के. So we'll discuss each one of them in more detail after at 3:10. Okay, so we will be joining back on 3:10 to discuss it further. Okay, so we were discussing about causes of business cycle. Okay, now we have already covered broadly what are the internal causes and external causes. Now let's discuss one by one, each of them. So war का क्या impact करता है business cycle पे? How it impacts the business cycle, economic activities of the country. आपने देखा रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर, what is happening because of that? There's a conflict, no? So they are fighting. They're fighting means people have to be more soldiers have to be deployed for this. Citizens are made to work for this, and their jobs are getting they are not getting job because of this factor. All economic activities are held up because of this. Okay, so सारे जो resources होते हैं country के, वो वॉर के लिए, वेपन्स के लिए, मिलिट्री इक्विपमेंट्स के लिए डाइवर्ट कर देते हैं. So they divert all the resources. That means companies will not be producing. There will be lack of employment opportunities. Okay, and overall economic activity will be on the downturn because at war, people are scared to spend. People can't spend. Then corporate, they know about consumers will not be having income, so they will not produce further. Employment in the country will decrease, GDP of the country will decrease, banks will not be able to lend because उनके पास भी crisis है और जो उन्होंने लोन दिए उसमें भी default की probability बढ़ जाएगी. So overall the probability goes up of default. Banks will also not give enough credit, and this is how this during war that economy going on the uh, will be on the downturn. That means there will be contraction in the economy. So during war, contraction will happen. And if the war continues for a very, very long period of time, or for a quite a long period of time, it may lead to depression. And contraction is what? Recession. Downfall हो जाएगा war में, but it will reach to extreme, to trough. Because if the war continues for a long period of time, सारे resources जो है exhaust हो जाएंगे, people will not have food, poverty in the country will increase, income in the country will decrease, output in the country will decrease, pessimism will increase, interest rates will start increasing, and this will become very, very difficult for people to have enough income to sustain. And this will lead to more pessimism in the market, isn't it? So the country will lead to depression. अगर ये war बहुत लंबे समय तक चलता रहा, then in that case, how this once the war gets over, then the economy will be like people will start gaining trust that yes, we are safe. Now once we are safe, then corporate will think about those people, those who were unemployed, they will be ready to work at a low wage rate because अब production start होने लग जाएगा. Consumers will be ready to buy small quantum of the good, whatever they can buy. Corporate will also start investing. Government will also go for invest deploying resources for the productive activities. जो war में सारा resources चले जाते हैं for military equipments and for defense and safety of the soldiers and safety of the border of the country and other things. So those resources will be now back deployed towards growth of the country. Maybe schools, colleges, hospitals, okay, roads, transport, and this is how. So once they start working on that, that means लोगों को job मिलने लग जाएगा. Once people start getting job, that means they'll start getting income. Once they get income, that means they'll start spending, and corporate will also become, and gradually faith economy में develop होने लग जाएगा. Once the trust increases, then people will start buying and the economy will be back on track. That means post-war, country will move from contraction or recession. ये stage normally आनी नहीं चाहिए. So before it reaches to depression, the country from recession will go towards the stage where they will be in the stage of recovery. So they will start recovering back. Okay. So once they start recovering back, aggregate demand will start increasing, output will start increasing, income will start increasing, credit will increase, optimism will increase, and basic infrastructure services will improve. Okay. Technology shock. जो हमने टेक्नोलॉजी शॉक एशियन कंट्रीज की बात की, सो इसमें क्या होता है, इनोवेटिव एंड ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव टेक्नोलॉजीज, इंटरनेट आ गया ऑल ऑफ अ सडन. इंटरनेट, पीपल वर नॉट अवेयर अबाउट दिस, And once internet came, life became very easy. People started relying more on technology. And this made companies, those who were techno savvy, they started producing such kind of services. And that is how they got more profits. Once they got more profit, they got more funding also, because people started believing that these companies will be high return generating, and they expanded to that pace, at such a pace, without realizing that how will they become sustainable in the future. And so this results in technology can help. जैसे अभी हमारी कंट्री में 5G and technology is helping to more investment, employment opportunities, income बढ़ रही है लोगों की, profits of the companies which are in digital field are increasing over the period of time. Startup culture is getting more benefited, but it should be continuous with the demand and supply balance. अगर supply और demand का balance नहीं होगा, then it will lead to downfall in the economy. Okay, so this is very important. So country is progressing, that is fine, but it should, companies which are producing, that should be matching up with the demand in the economy. If the gap will be there and huge gap increases, then it will lead to downfall in the economy. The natural factors are, what are the natural factors? Natural factors are floods and droughts, and then there is COVID we have seen, which has happened because people thought something like, who could realize earthquakes and so something like that, okay, which can be disastrous for the country, and the prices will shoot up because of the shortage, inflation will increase, and poor people will not be able to afford anything. Government expenses will increase, government loans will increase, debt will increase, and the country will be suffering because of that. Okay, population expansion. If there is huge increase in population, आप India का example देखो, so population is increasing, but we do not have enough jobs. We do not have enough skilled people, and that is why unemployment rate in the country will increase. If unemployment in the country increases, means what will happen? Jobs are not there, income is not there. How will they spend? And if they spend, they'll take more of credit. Once they start taking more of credit, that means if tomorrow they will not get income, they will default. And they'll default means banks will suffer. Financial health of the country will be on the downturn. So that's the impact of pollution expansion and other. So these factors affect business, economic activities in the country, and which leads to different stages of business cycle. Internal factors can be demand, overall demand. We have shared the aggregate demand in the country is consumption, investment, government expenditure, and net exports in a four-sector model, you remember. But in the short term, what matters most is consumption demand. If the consumption demand increases, then only the corporate will produce. Once the corporate start producing, then they will be getting more income. And respectively, government has to spend less on basics, and government will be spending more on other things, roads, schools, colleges, hospitals, and other basic services. Okay. And if the country is doing well, its exports will also increase. So demand is the factor which was given by Keynes, you remember? So Keynes said that aggregate demand is very important for the economy to prosper or grow. So when demand in the economy increases, production will increase. Okay. And production increases means employment will increase. Employment increases means income increases. Income increases means people purchase more. Sales of the firms increases. Sales increases. And that helps firms to get more profits. Okay. Profits means you're moving towards boom. Boom means expansion. And from expansion to you're heading towards peak with the stage of expansion. Okay, so change in the demand. And then once you reach the peak, then there is decrease. Opposite will be true when there's contraction. Okay, so whatever we have shared in this is about expansion. Opposite will be true for contraction in the economy. Fluctuations in investments. If corporates start believing that it's easy to get loan, they can invest in better technology, they can invest in solar panel and so many other things. So once they can get loan at low rate of interest, all these factors make corporate to invest more. So once they start investing, what will happen? Investments increases means overall economy will be prospering. But if investment depends on what हमने share किया था, investment exogenous factor पे depend करता है. Exogenous is what? Not on income, but on interest rates. So अगर आपको loan as a corporate, you get loan at a low rate of interest, that means your investments will increase because the cost will decrease, your margins will increase, you'll become more sustainable. So if startup culture is promoted, entrepreneur interest increases, okay, and this leads to more higher profit expectations. Profit expectation leads to more investments in the economy, and then it leads to expansion in the economy because the corporate starts investing, no, in anticipation of getting higher profit. And reverse will be true जबकि interest rates बहुत high हो जाएंगे, inflation बढ़ जाएगा. So that means investment will get hampered. Investment get hampered means there will be contraction in the economy. Macroeconomic policies of the country, macroeconomic policies, how the monetary policies are, taxation कैसा है country में, subsidies क्या है, tariffs क्या है, other factors क्या है, excise duty कितनी लगा रहे हैं. So what all these factors, subsidies you are offering on what, how the government is taking care about generation of basic infrastructure, ports कैसे हैं country में, norms क्या है, all those factors, fiscal policy and economic policies, okay, and then monetary policies. About monetary policy, banks की health कैसी है, how banks are like to what extent banks are giving loan, at what rate banks are giving, how the country's inflation rate is, okay, how the interest rate is in the country. This is all monetary policy will take care about, and this will affect what? This will affect investments. Okay, so monetary and fiscal policy affects business, investment decisions, economic activities, growth in the country. Okay. Then supply of money. Supply of money, if you have easy money in the country, easy money means you can get easily credit. Once you get easy credit, then you will go for more spending. More spending means you create more demand. More demand means corporate produce, and it will lead to economic growth and expansion. Okay, but if you spend more and more, you demand more and more, and companies cannot produce in the same amount, what will happen in that case? Prices will start shooting up. Prices start shooting up means it will lead to inflation in the economy. Inflation leads to what? Cost of production of the companies will increase. Cost of production increases means what? Their profits will decrease. Their profit decreases, and with the increase in the price, sales will also decrease because you consumer cannot afford to buy. Okay, so it will lead to more impact. No, I can't see, Sadik, your comment. I can't see what you want to ask. You can share again. कि आपका concern क्या है, क्या समझ में नहीं आ रहा आपको? See, population factor is the factor which can be because of the, जैसे चाइना की population बढ़ रही है, okay? चाइना की population और Japanese population is less. So what impact it can have on India? और फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिया में पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रही है तो इसका बेनिफिट यूएस को, मार्क्स एंड स्पेंसर को, बाकी प्लेयर्स को कैसे मिल रहा है? एप्पल को, बिकॉज दे नो कि इंडिया में कंज्यूमर्स बहुत हैं. सो इफ कंज्यूमर्स इन इंडिया आर इंक्रीजिंग, they will get opportunity to invest in India because the demand will increase in India, no? Because there are more consumers. So their profits will increase. Their profit increases means उनकी इकोनॉमी अच्छा. चाइना ने अच्छा क्यों किया है? बिकॉज चाइना ने इंटरनेशनल मार्केट को केटर किया. यस, सो अदर कंट्रीज की पॉपुलेशन कितनी है उसका इम्पैक्ट आपके ट्रेड पे पड़ता है. ट्रेड अफेक्ट्स योर countries economic activity affects your like corporate health and other things. Okay, so this is how it makes impact, Kavita. Then business cycle. So business cycle, supply of money. Agar if money is easily available, spending initially will increase, but if spending increases at a very fast pace, you start demanding more and more, and the corporate cannot produce. What will happen? Supply will be less, demand will be more, and this will lead to increase in prices. And the gap, if it get widen and widen, जितना ज्यादा गैप बढ़ता जाएगा सप्लाई एंड डिमांड के बीच में, उतनी ज्यादा प्राइसेस शूट अप होती जाएंगी. Once the price starts shooting up, Inflation in the country will increase. Inflation increases means overall price level with increase in the price, आपकी cost of borrowings बढ़ जाएगी. Cost of borrowings of the companies will increase. You will not be able to buy, consumer will not be able to buy at a higher price. Sales will decrease. Profits of the firms will decrease. And this is how it will make impact on the economy also. So there will be downturn in the economy. So prices बढ़ना कुछ हद तक ठीक है. But if it escalates beyond a point because supply का crunch है, so then it leads to downfall in the economy. So everything in fixed in the proportion is okay. But if it goes beyond, then it's a problem for the economy. Just say technology is okay, but technology beyond a point can make people unemployed. If makes people unemployed majority, because सबको तो technology नहीं आएगा, AI and others. So only some people will be gaining, rest of the people will be unemployed. And if unemployment rate increases, obviously overall corporate profits will decrease because the demand will decrease and it will have its own impact, adverse impact on the economy. Psychological factors according to Pico. So ये आपको objective में आ सकता है कि who's the economist who said about this business community anticipation or perception. So if business people think about, business community thinks about that country is doing well and the country is going to progress. इसके लिए वो किस पे rely करते हैं? Maybe coincident factors. What is happening currently in the country? So based on that, if they analyze and believe in optimism, कि country बहुत अच्छा कर रही है, so definitely it's worth investing. So these are some psychological state of mind, optimism, which creates positivism in corporate for investments and to expand. And this optimism creates more job opportunities and which leads to expansion in the beginning. But over optimism से problem हो सकता है. Over optimism से क्या होगा? If corporate become over optimistic, then they'll produce more, they'll take loan because उनको लगता है जो भी वो produce करेंगे that they will be able to sell at a higher price and profits उनको होंगे. So they start investing more and more by taking more and more loan. And those people, investors also, they invest in these projects because thinking that आज हम invest कर रहे हैं, कल को हमको इसमें ज्यादा returns मिलेंगे. So they also start investing. So this over optimism leads to what? It also leads to defaults in the market. Once default starts, then corporate starts defaulting. Then those orders which are given prior only, you will start canceling those orders and there will be contraction in the economy. So over optimism is also bad for the economy, which can lead to downfall in the economic activity. Absolutely, Nan, like .com burst. So extreme में जब कुछ होगा, तो definitely उसका impact economy पे होगा. And this is not by one or two segments. It's about the whole economy. जब positivism की अब country which is going through war, वहां पे क्या होगा? Psychologically, people will be, corporate will be thinking कि यहाँ पे अभी investment करना ठीक नहीं. And foreign players will also not invest, thinking about कि अगर हमने invest किया हमको loss होगा. So that notion leads to less investments in the economy. Okay. Psychological factors. So Pigou had Professor Pigou, economist थे, famous economist, उन्होंने बोला for psychological factors play role on in terms of business cycle. Okay. Schumpeter was another economist. He gave more emphasis to innovation. So his innovation theory says that कि अगर innovation होगा time से time पर, तो definitely investments बढ़ेंगे economy में and trade cycle will be on the upturn if innovation are helping country to decrease the cost, increase the productivity, create more jobs and become more efficient in terms of labor and capital. So that's what. So that will lead to expansion in the economy. Okay. Then Cobweb theory says about, and the Nicholas Corler, they said about that the present factors substantially impact the production at some future date. जो आज हो रहा है, उसका impact future date पे पड़ेगा. So whatever you see today, that makes impact in the future date. So this is what they said about that. Companies sometimes they decide about if this is the current scenario, future में हमको profit होगा क्या या नहीं होगा, और future अब आज टेक्नोलॉजी है इसलिए हम कल ये चीज प्रोड्यूस करें. So your future decisions for the production depends on what's happening in current. Okay, that can help companies to decide about how much output to be there, how much employment to be there. So आपको क्वेश्चन ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि शुम्पिटर की थ्योरी क्या है, निकोलस कैडलर की थ्योरी क्या है, देन पीगू की थ्योरी क्या है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू बिजनेस साइकिल. सो 1 2 3 4 ऑप्शंस एंड देन यू शुड बी एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई कि किसने किसको प्रपोज किया है या किसको एम्फसाइज किया है रिस्पेक्टिव. ओके, then what is the relevance of business cycle in business decision making? So in business decision making, किसी भी फर्म के लिए क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट है दिस बिजनेस साइकिल? किसी भी इंडस्ट्री के लिए, फॉर अ कंट्री, business decision making, why is it important? Because it drives their profit, isn't it? It drives, it makes them more sustainable. It increases their long-term sustainability probability. So it helps them to decide about कि हमको इसमें इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए या नहीं न्यू प्रोजेक्ट्स में. ओके, और शुड बी गो फॉर विड्रॉइंग फंड्स फ्रॉम दिस, कहीं और डिप्लॉय करें, इस कंट्री में नहीं किसी दूसरी कंट्री में इन्वेस्ट करें, बिकॉज यहाँ पे जो है रिसेशन हो जाएगा. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स, योर इन्वेस्टमेंट डिसीजंस आर बेस्ड ऑन बिजनेस साइकिल, विच फेज ऑफ बिजनेस साइकिल कंट्री इज गोइंग थ्रू. चाहे आप अपनी कंट्री में इन्वेस्ट करें या फिर यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट इन्वेस्टिंग इन रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. सो योर डिसीजंस आर बेस्ड ऑन business cycle, that the country where you are investing, it is in which state of business cycle. Hiring and production, if you feel like that the country is going to be in expansionary phase, then definitely you are optimistic about. Once you're optimistic about, then you go for hiring people. Or when you think that the economy is will be going through contraction and there is a probability of recession in the economy, then you start telling people that we cannot afford you because the cost is going up, sales कल को कम हो जाएगी, इसलिए हम आज ही आपको बोल रहे हैं कि you leave the job and look for something else. So hiring, how many people to be hired, how much production to be done, where to invest, how much to invest, when to withdraw, all these decisions are based on business cycle. Pricing, should we go for low price good, should we go for high? जब economy में expansion होता है, then people become more rich, isn't it? Income increase होती है, so you can produce expensive goods also. When you know that the contraction is there in the economy, तब आपको पता है कि necessity goods ज्यादा होने चाहिए, उसी की डिमांड ज्यादा होगी as compared to luxurious goods. So the production switches over to that. So pricing, which product should be produced, low price goods, high price goods, okay, and at what pace it should be produced more today, how much inventory should we have, how much will be our sales, all is dependent on business cycle. Because companies analyze करती हैं, corporate, they analyze that how much will be the future demand in the market, and according to that, and future demand depends, current demand and the future demand depends upon the business cycle stage. Spending, where to spend and how much to spend, or should we refrain from spending, that is all decided based on the business cycle. Should we introduce new product for the new segment of people? Should we export our goods in the market or not? Okay, should we enter a new market? All these decisions are based on business cycle, कि कंट्री में क्या स्टेज है बिजनेस साइकिल का और रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड में क्या है. उसके अकॉर्डिंगली आप अपने ट्रेड रिलेशंस रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड के साथ में you may decide about that. Okay, so to summarize this chapter, first and the foremost, what we have shared is that what brings different stages of business cycle. Different stages of business cycle is because of the economic activities. What are the core economic activities for any country? Core economic activities are output, or rather consumption, investments, income, output, employment, interest rates, inflation, bank credit, sales, profit, share market, or standard of living, GDP. Okay, so all these are economic indicators. These economic indicators, if they are positive, that means economy is in the stage of expansion. If all these factors are negative, that means economy is in contraction. If if it is if it has reached to the maximum where there's no look back in the maximum, then you are at peak. If the downfall is maximum, that means you are at trough. Okay, and it's not that your country is going through contraction, so other country may be going through expansion. If your country is going through contraction and other country is going through expansion, then what will you do? You can go for exporting goods. If you start exporting goods, then you will be gaining more because इस country में demand ज़्यादा है, आपकी country में कम है. So corporate may start investing. Once they start investing, then what will happen? Once they start investing, they'll increase production. They increase production means they'll hire people. They'll hire people at what price? Contraction में आप हो तो लोग किस रेट पे काम करने को तैयार हो जाएंगे? They will be ready to work at a very low wage rate. So people start working at a low wage rate. Once people start working at a low wage rate, what will happen? आपकी cost कम हो जाएगी. So corporate cost decreases. Corporate cost decreases. They will be able to sell goods in the market at a low price. Once they start selling at low price, इनका sales बढ़ जाएगा. And then there will be optimism. And the economy will be back on track. So this is how it works. There will be variety of economic activities. So economists use changes in the variety economic activities to measure the business cycle and predict where the economy is heading. Okay, these are called indicators. So we have shared leading indicators. What are leading indicators? Which depicts about future. Okay, before the change has happened. So if you are in contraction, if the country is in contraction, what is the probability that country will lead to like recovery? Okay, so leading indicators that what is going to lead to recovery. So it is about future. It talks about future trend. Okay, real output changes are called lagging factor. Lagging are past or the post event. Are lagging factors. Okay, so Keynes came to the conclusion based on lagging factors. What happened in 1930s depression? That made Keynes to say that no, aggregate demand is more important than aggregate supply. And government plays very important role. So this was based on lagging factors. Some say that investment is the core. Keynes said that consumption demand is the core. But other set of economists, they said investment demand is the core. If corporate won't invest, and the corporate investment is not depending on consumption demand, depends on income. But corporate investment demand depends on rate of interest. If the rate of interest in the economy increases, investments will decrease. Yes, and if rate of interest decreases, then investment will increase because their cost of borrowing decreases. And this rate of interest depends on what? Inflation. So if inflation in the economy will increase, rate of interest will increase. Rate of interest, if it starts increasing, then what will happen? Investments will start decreasing. So as economy starts expanding, absolutely. So as economy starts expanding, expanding leads to what? As the economy starts expanding, then what happens because of expanding? People become over optimistic. And this over optimism leads to what? Raising more loans by corporates for investments. They raise more loan for investment. Even they spend on other things also, operating expenses, not only on capital and operating also. So they take more loan in anticipation that our profits will increase in future. And this, the series of loans which they start taking to expand their business, at a faster pace or at a rapid pace, this leads to surplus inventory. And this surplus inventory leads to what? Unsold stock, which they are not able to sell, and that's why they'll not go for further production. And the economy, which is at expansion, will start to contract. The contractions will start happening. Okay, so this is how the economy is going to perform. So each and every stage will lead to the next stage. But it depends on that what are the factors which a country can analyze prior only to work on that. If they can analyze prior only, they can work on it. That will not lead to a faster pace of transformation from expansion. अगर यहीं पे आपने इसको arrest कर लिया, if the number of loans are increasing and these loans are leading to more default in future, so the banks can analyze that the loans which companies are taking at a faster pace, they may default. And once they analyze here, they will not go for giving more loans. If they will not give more loans, that means banks' financial health will be better and the companies can go for surviving in a better manner because they are not getting enough loans, so they will not go for investments and expansion. So these factors, it helps economy to avoid the probability of switching over from expansion to contraction and from contraction to like a depression. That is why you see today countries are reaching to recession, but they are not reaching to depression. 1930 ke baad, no country has gone to depression. Reason being, after recession, so ये trough में नहीं जाती है. They are on the downfall, contraction in recession. So the countries may go through recession or contraction, but because of these indicators, economic indicators, leading, lagging, and coincident factors, countries are avoiding the stage of depression. They start taking measures here only so that they should not reach to depression, or यहाँ से they go to recovery because of these indicators which help them to overcome the problems and to reach to the stage of recovery rather than going to the depression. Examples of leading and lagging factors I've already shared with Dan. Leading factors, तो दीज आर लीडिंग इंडिकेटर्स। लीडिंग इंडिकेटर्स क्या होते हैं? अगर स्टॉक मार्केट अप जा रहा है एंड यू बिकम ऑप्टिमिस्टिक अबाउट कि मार्केट अप जा रहा है, दैट मीन्स companies are doing well. Companies are doing well. उनका profit up जा रहा है. Companies also start thinking that if the profit is stock market is going up, people are buying our stock. That means people have confidence in our product. They'll buy our product, and our sales will increase. Let's go for producing more, and that is why they start producing more. Sales भी increase होता है because consumers भी optimistic होते हैं. So profit margin starts increasing. Housing and people get more salary, so they feel like a housing, like they can buy house. Or जो real estate developers होते हैं, they also start constructing houses. And since banks, they know that people will go for housing loan, they also offers interest rate, but थोड़ा higher interest rate पे देते हैं. फिर भी people they buy because they know कि houses, they are, it's the is the right return generating, so people start buying. Consumers भी नए नए goods की demand करते हैं. Companies also start expanding business. So these all factor depicts what the country expansion की path पे जा रही है. Because there is optimism in the market, so it is leading to expansion. So these are factors which leads to. अब इसमें आपको देखना है कि to what extent it is expansion. Is it going closer to peak? If the stock market is overpriced, okay, and the profit margin of the firms is highly escalated, housing sector is reaching, like it happened in 2008. So जैसे 2008 में हुआ crisis में, this happened, that stock market was doing so well. People started investing, all across the world started investing in stock market. Property prices went up, or banks were lending loan, and people started buying houses. And then this bubble busted. So peak pay, it already was at the peak. So these leading indicators helps you to understand that at which phase the economy is going to reach. Okay. Then lagging indicators, जो हो चुका, what we have learned from COVID. So COVID, Indian economy was in recession. We have learned from COVID that what are the factors which can lead to problem after COVID. So after COVID, what kind of problems we had? We had a problem of कि business companies को बहुत loss हो गया था. Okay, unemployment rate had increased. So what to work, how to work so that business can be back on track. So government said that we'll go for investing in the market. जब government ने start किया investment, corporate also started getting faith, and then they also started investing. Gradually, the economy opened, people started buying goods and services, and then we moved from recession back to the stage of recovery. So lagging indicators, जो हो चुका उससे आपने क्या सीखा? So that you can take due measures. Okay, unemployment. What was the rate of unemployment during COVID? What was the corporate profit? What led to the labor costs per unit of output? How the interest rate affected the consumers buying and other factors. So all that you can find out through the historical performance is the past factors, which helps you to guide about present. Okay, past factors. Then coincident factors जो उस पेस के साथ साथ चल रहे हैं. For example, country is expanding. That means everything is good. Okay, expansion and contraction. अगर expansion है तो GDP बढ़ रहा है, थोड़ा सा moderately inflation बढ़ रहा है, industrial production बढ़ रहा है, personal income is increasing, retail sales is increasing, financial market में upturn है, stock market में भी upturn है. So this is about coincident factors going with the current scenario. Okay, so this is how you can find out. So this is what, so variables का significance, I hope आप समझ गए हो. Okay, so, okay, so cobweb theory. Okay, so cobweb theory basically क्या है? Cobweb theory propounded that and the Nicholas, दोनों ये जो cobweb theory is given by Nicholas Callow. इन्होंने कहा कि the business result from the fact that present prices जो आज prices quote हो रही है. For example, if in present the price of products of e-commerce firms, e-commerce firms is increasing, isn't it? So the price of, तभी तो आप देखो Zepto, Blinkit, Zomato, uh, all these players are doing well, isn't it? So if they anticipate that the firm's prices are going up, that means that will make them understand इसमें future date में profit होगा. This will be generating more profit in the future. आज ये इतना up जा रहा है, future में ये और up जाएगा. This will go further up in the future, and that is why we should go for investing in this. Because अगर हम आज invest करेंगे, future में ये up जाएगा, तो हमको अब companies which are investing in green or for example electric vehicles. So why in India major players wants to go for green vehicles? So they're investing in green vehicles based on this. Okay, agar overall prices, so this is one example, but if overall we say that the price level in the country is gradually increase ho raha hai, price level in the country is gradually increasing, okay? So price level in the country is gradually increasing. That means people will buy for sure because people are optimistic. So price level is gradually increasing, so people are optimistic. So country is optimistic. And this optimism will help them to produce more. This is what they rely on concurrent indicators. Concurrent indicators that makes them to decide about the future. That is what is about. Concurrent indicators. These are present prices, concurrent. And based on that, they decide about future. Okay. So the present fluctuation in the prices will bring fluctuations in output in the future, employment in the future. And that makes them decide, okay, fine. Today, the prices are more volatile, changing at a faster pace. मतलब returns हमारे future में will be more up and down, and that is why our risk will go up. And since our risk is increasing, so we should go for investment in this sector, but in moderate amount. In this country, in moderate amount. So it can be country specific, no? So अगर आपको लगता है कि आप invest करना चाहते हैं US में, and then you see that because of Trump, the market will be more like fluctuating a lot. And when you feel that market will be more fluctuating because of the change in the government in US, and that will make your investment returns less profit generating. So you will decide based on that how US economy is going to perform after election. Because of this election, how US economy is going to perform. And if you want to invest in US, that would be based on the current status, how this current status of the US economy is after election. So concurrent indicators here help as per the Nicker calendar to decide about that where should we go for, country should go for investments and how the employment will be in the future. So this is how. So अगर country में अभी economic stability है, political stability है India में, and people think about कि long term में इसका उनको क्या benefits होगा, then they decide about that these sectors will be doing well and the economy will be doing well. So then they decide about that's so they stress more on concurrent indicators. Okay. So investments का हमने share कर दिया. Hence we had shared. Hence spoke about what hence के लिए सबसे important effective demand. How much consumers are going to demand with the current have willingness to demand. Actual demand उनकी कितनी होगी? That's different. But how much they are willing to demand. Okay, so ex ante हमने share किया था. Then according to some economics of investments, some said that aggregate demand is the factor which leads to business cycle, and others said investment is the factor which leads to business cycle. So business cycle, अब investments की बात करेंगे तो that depends on more external factors. When we talk about aggregate demand, that depends on more consumption demand, and consumption demand depends on more psychological factors, population, and so many other factors. Okay, so population can be internal also, external also. External तब होगा जब आप दूसरी कंट्री के रिस्पेक्ट में बात कर रहे हैं. So other countries, so India's population growing up, and that's why major MNCs want to be in India. So इसका benefit Indians को मिल रहा है. So you have all the foreign products coming in India because of the government policies and initiatives. Okay. So this about we have shared that Hodry said that business cycle is because of the monetary phenomena. Monetary phenomena is money supply, money demand, and money supply. If the money demand will increase, when the money demand will increase, money demand will increase when you know that credit is easily available. So once you know credit is easily available, number two, you believe that the it's you have money, more money because of the salary and others. So expansionary phase में normally ये होता है. So the expansionary phase, money demand increases, and if you demand more, that means you create more demand for goods and services. But उसके comparison में enough production नहीं होगा. So that means it will lead to inflation. And if it leads to inflation, then the interest rates start increasing. Interest rate starts increasing means your purchasing power will decrease and the money demand will be adversely affected. So Hodge ने monetary policy terms में monetary phenomena में बताया money supply fluctuations करता है because corporate की भी cost of production बढ़ सकती है because of the money supply crunch. Okay, Pigou is considered as modern economist and he emphasized on business community. Business community क्या perceive करती है, optimism या pessimism, उस पे investments decision होंगे. Schumpeter said about technology and innovation. Innovation and R&D, research and development and innovation, plays important role for different phases of the economy. Okay, so this is how the economic conditions are important for business decision making. And yes, hardly not exactly capitalist in nature. It's talking more from the monetary perspective. Monetary perspective means money supply and money demand. Okay. And Keynes is talking more from the consumption perspective. He's not capitalist perspective. He's only talking from the perspective of that money plays more important role than the consumption demand created. So the perception is different of the two economists. And the major weightage, if you see in India, if you see in China, is because of the consumption demand. Countries which have gone through high inflation is because of the loan. जिनके पास loan obligations ज़्यादा, श्रीलंका आपने देखा has gone through that condition because of the loan. If you take more loan, then it's a problem for paying the debt. और फिर आपकी country में problem हो. Venezuela had gone through hyperinflation. So countries where there is a probability of inflation, over there, Hartree model is more applicable. But otherwise, more valid is Keynes because it's majorly true for consumption. Investment demand is definitely important in long term. So Hartree का concept long term में, Keynes का concept is in the short term because investment demand depends on what? Rate of interest. Rate of interest depends on what? Inflation. Inflation depends on what? Money supply and money demand. So this is the difference between the two. Okay, so may you all do very well and read the study material thoroughly. This is my last class with you, and I hope you will go through all the concepts and do very well. So that's it for today's class. Bless you all. Okay, take care, all of you. Thank you. Anji. Okay.